Hello and welcome to the Musical Show, the show where I blabber on about music for 20 to 30 minutes straight. Yay! So yeah, I listened to 9 albums last week. I only showed 8 in the first episode because the second Skrillex album didn't drop, but the second Skrillex album did drop. I put it on my community tab that I'm reviewing it, and yeah, I did review it. But first of all, we've got to look back to an old favourite, Lil Yachty. Let's start here, the re-review. I definitely went a bit too far calling this perfect, and now it's not even in my top 3 albums of the year. Ow, my leg is really hurting, I need to adjust it. Here we go. And in fact, my new album of the year is a new album that I'm reviewing today, so be fucking prepared. Because in terms of vocals, some songs were flawed, some songs were way too similar to other songs in terms of bass pattern, in terms of drum pattern, and lyrically, the album, while it's not bad, has some weak spots. However, in terms of transitions and instrumentals, even if there are some flaws in the instrumentals, it's still a fantastic album. And despite being Psych Walk, I wrote Psych Walk in my notes because I stole that off Anthony Fantano. You can see my notes. Oh, I kind of just spoiled the album of the year there, sorry. Hopefully you didn't look. And now that I've said that, you're probably rewinding because you're a lazy angle. Anyway, it still sounds like a Lil Yachty album, which I said originally, which is probably the thing I like the most about it, and still like the most about it. And yeah, how much of the production was actually Lil Yachty though is down to speculation, but yeah, I'm pretty sure he was somewhat involved because, like, come on, it's his idea. He's wanted to do that for years. It's a little Pink Floyd nerd. He's a little Pink Floyd nerd. Ha ha ha. But yeah, still top 5 this year, and still the best of January. Kimbra's going down to a 9.1. Back to Mark, still an 8.9, and this is now a 9.2 out of 10. So that means at the moment, I think I mentioned this last week, Ray is my album of the year with a 9.7. You might have, if you were looking closely, seen this, but this... Oh no, I start from reverse order, don't I? Right. 9 albums, let's go. Clean slate. Forget about how much I messed up that. And, yeah. Level 5 Part 1 by BK the Ruler is my worst album of the week. Horrendous first half I had. Honestly, it was on its way to being about a 2 with that first half. But the second half was actually not that bad. And I loved the sound of some of the beats. However, some others were terrible. And she was way offbeat on a few songs. And it's a largely inconsistent album. But what was bad was really bad. And what was good was just good and not great. And that resulted in it overall being a relatively average, but more on the lower scale of averageness, at a 4.7 out of 10. Like, 4.7, it rounds up to a 5. It's basically a 5. It's basically average, isn't it? It feels weird calling a 4.7 bad, doesn't it? Although I probably will put bad in the corner. It's probably already gone. Oh well. Next up is... I'm just going to turn this off. There we go. I need to fart. Anyway. Didn't need to know that, but I guess you do. You can probably see me trying to let it out. Oh, off it goes. Right. Don't take that out of context. It's just a fart. That was stink later. So you didn't know a sound, didn't you? Right. I'll shut up about farts and talk about this album, which is not a complete doo-doo fart, because the worst album's a 4.7, and that's not a completely bad doo-doo fart. Jay Critch's Drug Season. The album cover, I presume, is based off 2014 Forest Hill Drive, and it's not exactly that. But yeah, he does seem like a J. Cole clone in parts, but the beats were largely decent enough, but they were also fairly predictable. And yeah, generally it was a fairly predictable album. But there were some fantastic tracks, and with a maybe, like, say, 12-track album, with improvements in terms of, like, making the songs less predictable, or which isn't actually that hard. But, like, sometimes you just know where a song is going. You can even have it with the same structure and make it slightly less predictable, adding more, like, sounds in, making the beats slightly less simple. But yeah, with some improvements on that front, and no Rich the Kid, oh my god, kill me now, I'm gonna kick that out. Probably shouldn't have done that. With no Rich the Kid feature, he was absolutely terrible. This guy could be decent, but this one, a fairly mid start to me having heard of him, and a 5.4 out of 10. Next up, the late Big Scar, and with his posthumous album, The Secret Weapon, which I think he basically pretty much completed before his death. So I felt comfortable listening to it. Sometimes I don't. So a lot of the time I do skip albums in like a series when it's like, say, something 2. That's why I skipped Bin Reaper earlier in the year. And usually I don't really listen to posthumous albums. But sometimes you just know that it was pretty much complete. Say Circles by Mac Miller, but say there's meant to be a Juice WRLD album. I won't listen to that when it comes out. But I will like mention it. I just won't listen to it. Yeah. Rest in peace to this guy, as I said. Always a shame to see young rappers die. And this guy did seem to have potential. I think this one is fairly predictable amid trap music. That doesn't do much for me. But, like, what is really sad is that this did show potential. And we will never get to see if he was going to use that to make some really decent projects in the future for Gucci Mane's label. 5.4 out of 10, and it's just a shame that it ended like this, because he had potential to make something really good. Next up, we have got one of the best pop stars of all time. Is she even really a pop star? Because she's gone through like a number of genres in her time, hasn't she? Pink with Trustful. And yeah, in her prime, it was hard to beat. She was. And this was a massive fall off, being honest. Give me a sec. Right, sorry about that. But yeah, this is a massive fall off for Illa. Get out of here. Why are you in my notes? This is why I'm always holding my phone. This is what my script to review, otherwise I'd just be blabbering on, there'd be a million pauses. And I forgot to do news on Boring, for fuck's sake. I'll do it on Saturday. That seems to be the day I usually do it these days. But I need to stop. I've got another series planned for Saturday that I will announce in a continuity very soon. But yeah, as I said, massive fall off, but it's not offensive. There's nothing like bad about the album. It's just corporate pop, but it's about as good at corporate pop, rock, and even country in parts. But like for corporate pop, it's really as good as you can get, because there are some decent songs on it. And yeah, there's nothing bad, but it is all pretty much a dud. It's a bit of a dud of an album. It's not bad, but it's just a bit there, I guess. And for me, it's a 5.8 out of 10. Next up, we've got one of the Skrillex albums. Which one will it be? Will it be Don't Get Too Close or Quest for Fire? It's Quest for Fire. And to be honest, this might be the weirdest album I've ever listened to. Don't bully the slippers, okay? I have very small feet because, I don't know, I just have really small feet. I don't know why. Yeah, it's such a weird album. It's so unique and different to pretty much anything I've ever heard, but structurally, it gets really boring. And it's also really inconsistent. Some of the gimmicks worked, some were insanely stupid and sounded terrible. Some tracks were really good, like Rumble, and some were horrible, like Ratata. Why did I say it like that? Ratata. How you meant? Or is it Ratatata? I don't know. I haven't listened to the song, and I don't really want to ever again. It's one of the worst songs I've heard this year. And also, why did some EDM/hyperpop fusionish song in Arabic end up as one of the best songs of the album, Zena? I just don't know with this. That's super weird, and it pretty much explains the album. Inconsistent, really weird. I'd recommend it because it's a ride, but I don't think it's like gonna be one of the best things I've ever heard. 6.5 out of 10. Next up, you've got Don't Get Too Close by bloody Skrillex again. And yeah, there was a mountain of features which didn't go well on the previous album, which also had a mountain of features with the likes of Pink Panthers, Trippie Redd, Blade, Young Lean, Kid Cudi, and Bobby Burelli twice, who I think ruined both songs she was on. And a number of others. Justin Bieber, Don Toliver. Yeah. However, I do like Trippie Redd's feature, and I do like the fact that he can sort of go back to his old ways, because he needs to, basically, to make anything good again. And I do hope he returns to that sort of direction. But, yeah, it's a mixed bag in terms of the features, but this one was more of a dud. But, like, there were some decent tracks. And, yeah, despite the A-star features, it was more around, like, a C plus, a B minus. But, and yeah. With the fact it's got less terrible tracks on it and more like so-so tracks, it's better than Quest for Fire. But it's far, far less interesting, despite that far, far more interesting and more recognisable features. And I give it possibly a rating better than a 10, a 6.9. Nice. Thanks, Skrillex. Next up, we've got Neat Bucks, Blessed in the Maxwell. And yeah, I thought this album had really, really nice potential. But it was pretty much what I expected. Some duds, but some fantastic tracks. The features were brilliant, which is what I was expecting. And his songwriting was actually really good. The beats were decent, but this was again another predictable one. And he didn't really find a sort of trademark style on this. I feel like this is an album that needs to have the best albums have a sort of similar style throughout, don't they? And this one sorted it, but sort of didn't enough for it to be like really decent. And every so often it feels like a playlist, but still really, really good. But nothing special or album of the year like, which is what I said it could have been. 7 out of 10 for me. Next up we have got Inhaler, which is again not revolutionary, but it does the job. And I'm just a lot more lenient on rock because it's harder to make predictable rock music than predictable trap, I suppose, in a way. But it has some amazing tracks. Now You Got Me is one of the songs of the year in my eyes. And there's another song that will not get out of my fucking head, and it's really annoying. Don't get too close. Love will get you there, and it will not get out of my head, and it's really annoying. But yeah, that track is incredible. It's not the best thing I've ever heard, by any means, or is it even close, but like, it's outstanding. It's as good as you can get while being predictable. In some songs, anyway. Some songs were just really good and perfection. 8.7 out of 10. And now, if you were looking closely, you'll see that this is my new album of the year. Catherine Polachek's Desire, I Want to Turn Into You. Dropped some random Tuesday, and if you drop on a Tuesday, you're usually really good. Little Sims did that with their album last year, and it was on my top 10 list at the end of the year of albums last year. I think it might... I've not re-listened, but I think it will have grown off me a little bit. But yeah, I do need to really listen at some point. Yeah. Random Tuesday, the second best album. It's actually the best album this year. Note. It says second best, I think, somewhere over there, if you want to pause and read, or can even pause and read, I'm not really sure. And yeah, super genre binding, but also has the enjoyable element that the mainstream's supposed to have. I mean, usually it doesn't because it's insanely mid. But yeah, it's the odd lyric, the odd moments away from a 10 out of 10 in my eyes. Absolutely outstanding. Right, that's enough about that, but let's see. This is a mountain of a week. This is by far the biggest week all year. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 albums have dropped this week that I've decided to listen to. But first of all, let's look at what I'm not going to listen to, which is the Suicide Boys EP, Shameless Suicide, with Shakewell, because some people do listen to Suicide Boys, but like, I'd never heard of them until recently, and they've never really had features I've heard of, as far as I know, or even been featured on anything I know. So you probably won't see me review these. You might see me one day. You probably will see me one day, but yeah, there is that. First off, we have got Yeat with his new album Afterlife, featuring NBA Youngboy, Cranky twice, which I think is just him apparently, Lil Geeky, and samples Talking Ben. Yeat is a singles artist, always has a few bangers, but is always largely mid. But like, he always has some sort of personality. There's always personality in his albums that make them really good. Well, good to an extent, as good as they could get while being like objectively really bad. So yeah, I say a 6 because pretty much all of his albums are 6s. It's like 22 songs. It's like nearly an hour and 10 minutes long. It's one of them. Next up, we've got Don Toliver with Love Sick, featuring the likes of James Blake, Lil Durk, Glorilla, Kali Uchis, Tissa Korean, Justin Bieber, and Future in one song. That is a really weird combination. Wizkid, Brent Fires, Charlie Wilson, Toro y Moi. I heard this had a Sampha feature. Some guy who posts like new albums dropping that I get 99% of the albums that dropped. Although we did miss a few this week that I am listening to because some TikToker did a video on like music's dropping Friday, and I added a few to the list there because I've heard a few other artists that wasn't on there. But yeah, Don Toliver. First, from what I've heard, this album's insanely mid, and I've seen a few reviews. I've seen some people give it an 8, but they give anything trap an 8, and I've seen some other guy give it a 5. And I've never been a big Don Toliver fan. I think there will be some good songs to take away, but I'm going to say around a 4 or a 5. It's not going to be fun. Gorillaz, I'm not going to put my expectations on because I've already listened to the album. Cracker Island featuring Thundercats, Stevie Nicks, Adeleo Matayo, Tame Impala, Bad Bunny, and the late Beck. 10 tracks, 37 minutes. I'm not gonna put my thoughts on this album on it. Well, what I'm expecting the thoughts of the album to be on here because I've already listened to the album, as I just said. But yeah, I will do one of my little mini review thingies on my TikTok, music reviews. If you want to go follow, I plug it every single. Hang on. Oh, that's weird. Right. Double way. Right. Oh, I've got 300 likes on it. Yeah, music reviews, 35 followers now. I am the biggest music reviewer on the planet. Just kidding. No, I'm not. There's someone like 50k, I think. But someone got reposted by Drake with one of his album reviews. Hopefully that'll be me. Pretty much every album review I've seen of the Yeet has gone pretty viral. Hoping that happens to me. Please. I want to go viral, mommy. So yeah. Right. Enough of that. Logic, College Days is dropping. College Park, featuring the likes of RZA, Lucy Rose, C. Castro, Andy Hall, C. Castro again, Big Lembo, Fatrell, Ade, Seth MacFarlane. Yeah, him. Redman, Static, Skeletor, Joey Badass, Nora Jones, Jordan Harris, C. Castro for the third time, 38.9897 degrees north, 76.9378 degrees west. What a weird song title. Bun B and Lil KK. Anyway, from what I've heard, he's got that spiritual, lyrical, miracle individual flow. Sometimes he doesn't, and his songs are way better when he doesn't. But with the Joey Badass feature, it's got to be somewhat good, and that song's pretty much guaranteed to be good. Anything Joey Badass steps on is pretty much gonna turn to gold 99% of the time. So yeah, I am expecting this. I'm gonna say a 6. But there's definitely going to be really good tracks. But I just hate that bloody white boy spiritual miracle individual flow. And that seems to be what he's offering. Next up, we've got Tink with her new album, Thanks for Nothing, featuring Ty Dolla $ign and Young Bloom. 14 songs, 38 minutes. Never heard of this person. I'm going to say... You can usually tell what an album's going to sound like from the album cover. I have an idea what this is going to sound like. And I feel it could really work or it could really not work. So I'm going to say 6 to be safe. You're safe with a 6. Russ Millions dropped his new album, One of a Kind. Well, actually, no, it's not an album. It's a mixtape. And it's his first full-length project of any description. YV, Bunny, Noisy, Ron Dodasoa, Capo Plaza... A1 times J1, French the Kid, GMD, Bunny, RAYV, Krebs and Conan, Miss Banks, Ivorian Doll, T Zandos, Dream Doll, and French Montana all featured. 17 songs, 41 minutes. Drill doesn't have a great reputation, but there's still the odd. UK Drill doesn't anyway, but you still get the odd decent enough album. This isn't going to be 3. The late AKA, who was shot and killed recently in South Africa, absolutely horrible, has had his posthumous album that he was hyping up before he died, Mask Country, released. Really sad that he got killed not so long before he'd be able to release this. Yeah, honestly, it's horrible. Featuring Tato Soul, MT, Manana, Nasty C, Kulik Shana, Sajava, 031, Chopper, Baby SON, Musa Keys, Gyaki, Younger Chief, Blackie, Lay Lizzy, Weathered, Blackie again, Nadia Nakai, and yeah. Never listened to AKA or Aka, but he's had a Burna Boy feature, and I'm just like presuming what I think the album's going to sound like from that. I'm going to say a 7 to be nice. Next up, we've got Adam Lambert, who dropped his album High Drama. 11 songs, 38 minutes. I have a feeling that... Hang on, is this a covers album? This is a covers album. I'm not going to listen to a bloody covers album. Right. It is a covers album. Yeah, it is. I'm not going to bother listening to it then, but 11 songs, 38 minutes, covers album by Adam Lambert called High Drama, if you want to listen to that. Oh, thank God, now I've only got 10 albums to listen to. That feels nice. Next up, Gracie Abrams with a hyped up debut, A Good Riddance. Looking forward to this one a lot. I'm expecting this to be an 8, at least. It's not often I'm this optimistic, but I really am with this. Next up, You Like My Legs. That sounds so weird. Anyway, that's the point. Anyway, Wiz Khalifa's dropped his new albums featuring Johnny Giuliano, Boaz, Chevy Woods, Young Rowe, Courtney Noel, Lavish, Chevy Woods again, Johnny Giuliano again, and Rocky Fontaine. 23 songs, an hour and 8 minutes in length. It's called Star Power. I'm going to say 6 for Wiz. He is still going. Finally, we've got Out on Bond by Babytron, who recently released Bim Reaper 3. I was talking about how I didn't listen to that, but this is part of a series, so I will listen to it. It's got one of the worst album covers I've ever seen. Certified Trapper feature, 5 songs, 11 minutes in length. I'm going to say a 4. It's not usually my type of music, but it's not going to be bad. Look at that album cover, it's shocking. I mean, it is right in the corner, so I don't know why I showed you it, because I'm going to edit it in. But, there you go. What's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 albums. Well, 9 albums and 1 EP. Don't know how I'm going to do it. Although, I did finish the 9 albums by Wednesday, and I've already, scheduled out how I am going to listen to them in my head. And now I've already listened to one of them, so I've only got 8 albums and 1 EP, actually. And by the end of the day, I'll only have 7. And 7 I can do. I can do 7 easy. I'm not doing anything on Saturday. I haven't got a Marine game, so I can just, spend the whole day listening to albums if I want to. So I'll defo listen to a few then. So, yeah. It might not actually be that difficult. Are you looking forward to any of these? Are you listening to any of these? Have you already listened to any of these? What do you think of these? What do you think of the albums I listened to last week if you listened to any of them? Comments all of that shit down below. And if I have the comments on, hopefully the fact that I just swore then may YouTube think that this isn't made for kids, even though I look young as fuck. Oh, it's not really showing on this. Because I'm sort of oh, I don't see it now. Well, I sort of do, actually. I thought it was growing a monobrow for the longest time, but, like, it's not growing that much. Oh well, don't really care, to be honest. Gonna listen to the Don Toliver shit, get that over with. And yeah, thank you for watching. Need to edit this, make that Gorillaz review. I'm gonna be occupied. Bye. I don't know why I saluted.